Well, next tonight, for those without a home to call their own, Christmas isn't so much a reason to celebrate, but survive. With many essential services reduced or even unavailable, it can be a lonely and vulnerable time of year for many.
Yes, and this year, demand for the region's largest pop-up community centre in Bristol is expected to be greater than ever, with hundreds of people accepting the offer not only of hot food and drink, but support and advice too. Richard Payne reports.
In a small space in a corner of Bristol, work to feed people in need is at its peak. Christmas is the busiest time of year for those seeking to give something to others who have next to nothing. Months of collecting, sorting and shifting will culminate in caring for Bristol's biggest ever operation to support the homeless.
You see it on a day-to-day basis throughout the year. You know, if you walk around the streets in any city, unfortunately, you'll see a need for support for people who have got housing needs, not just people who are homeless and rough sleeping, but people who are just at a stage in life where things haven't gone quite right for them, and we're just trying to pick up the pieces and help them along, really.
Dwindling amounts of accommodation is beyond the price of many, resulting in growing numbers of homeless you can see and many more you can't. In 34 years of help, the charity is needed more than ever, which is why a staggering 500 volunteers will give up much of their own Christmas to support those who wouldn't otherwise have one.
It's the largest of its kind in the southwest, and it just creates a festive atmosphere for people who normally might be excluded from that. People experiencing homelessness find it really difficult at this kind of time of year, so that Christmas cheer makes a big difference.
Some 700 guests experiencing any kind of homelessness are expected here between Christmas Eve and December the 30th. Doctors, dentists, even vets will provide practical help alongside a much-needed meal and conversation. Back at base, donations extend beyond food. Some 200 hampers will be delivered to those in need who have got a roof over their head, but not the certainty of a permanent one. Thankfully, the generosity of donors is growing alongside the demand.
It's not the same people, it's more people are seeing what's happening in Bristol. I mean, throughout the UK, but definitely in Bristol, the issue of homelessness, and more people are wanting to come and support us.
The hope is, of course, that one day this service will no longer be needed on the scale it is. Until that day, this charity and those like them are ready to answer the call of some of our most vulnerable. Richard Payne, ITV News, Bristol.
Oh, some really good work going on there to support people.
Amazing stuff, yeah, very hard work. Well, you're watching ITV News in the Westcountry with Victoria and Bob. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening. There's still lots ahead before 6:30.
A Bristol homelessness charity says it's had its busiest Christmas period ever. Caring in Bristol has been providing food, clothing and supplies to those in need. The scheme ends today, but volunteers say demand is greater than ever before.
There's a real stretch on people at the moment. The cost of living crisis is really driving people onto the streets and driving people to not be able to afford to buy things like food because of the stretch that they're experiencing. And what we're really finding is more and more guests are brand new to homelessness, and they're also brand new to us. And this is the first year they're experiencing homelessness, and they're coming to us for their support.
Next,